Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the medium in the middle. This podcast is going to walk you through my journey into mediumship and how I came to realize that I could communicate with souls that have passed over. My adventure started just over a year ago when unusual situations started happening to me. It wasn't until I really started to pay attention to them that it all started to come together. I wrote down everything that I was experiencing this past year in a little black book, and this podcast is going to be a recap of all of those memories leading up to where I am today in my mediumship journey. I will be releasing new episodes every Tuesday, and I recommend listening to the podcast in order, starting with episode 1, as my story will unfold more week by week. If you would like to stay connected with me, follow me on Instagram at mediuminthemiddle. Hello everybody, welcome back. This is episode 35 of the podcast, and today we are going to be talking about your intuition, how to tune into your intuition, and how to trust your intuition. This past week, I've been doing a lot of my Akashic Records practice readings, and it's come up so many times when I was trying to decide what today's episode should be about. I was going back and forth on a few different things I should discuss. Should I talk about a mediumship story? Should I talk about the Akashic Records again? And I thought about talking about intuition this week because it feels like it's really important, especially with the amount of times it came up this week in my readings. So I feel like we need to dive a little bit deeper into this. And then next week I'm going to do like an Akashic Records part 2 to share some of the stuff that has been coming up in readings, to talk about them more, and just to provide more information because I got a lot of positive feedback on that podcast episode and a lot of you wanting to know more. So I would love to share my experience with you around that. I also have been hearing a lot of other podcasters mention that they are recording from home now. Just to share with you, I do always record from home alone in my bedroom. I have a little setup here, so I am being safe and social distancing, but I am a one-man show run completely out of my bedroom. If you would like to help support the podcast, just leaving a rating and a review really helps other listeners find me, and that is how the podcast can grow. So if you are using iTunes, if you can leave a rating and review, I would really appreciate it. And if you want to stay connected with me further, you can follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, where I do share some information throughout the week as well, outside of just the episode every Tuesday. Alrighty, so let's pull a card for this week. So I'm pulling an oracle card from the same deck I always use, Colette Baron Reed, the Enchanted Map deck. So I pulled card number 40, Follow the Leader. If you would like to see the card, I always do share it on my Instagram and my stories, so you can follow me at Medium in the Middle, or the link is also in the description. You can click on the Instagram link, but I'm going to read the description. Card number 40, Follow the Leader. Every life is a teaching tool for others. Your authenticity and honesty are an example to those around you. The full card description. You are being called to lead others by example. Your wisdom has been earned as a result of your bravery in the adventure of your life. The experience of battles won and lost, places discovered, tears shed, and joy revealed have placed you in a unique position to be of service to others. Your suffering has been crystallized into a talisman of wisdom. Now you must share it. By being fully authentic, you'll lead others into the light. You'll be required to divulge some things about your past so that you may help someone else. Lead with love. There's another message here as well. Look to those whose great character and accomplishments you admire. Emulate the leaders you respect. You will then in turn have more to offer. I am also going to read the meaning of the card reversed because it does also apply to today's topic of trusting your intuition. So the card's meaning reversed. Reversed, the Follow the Leader card offers a gentle push to get up and take the lead. In a relationship or partnership, be the one to voice what must be said. Muster your courage and speak your needs aloud. Affirm what you like and what you feel. Don't just hope for someone else to fix the problems you see. If your inquiry is about a career or project, you must take the initiative to draw up a proper plan. And if it is about a personal relationship, you must be clear about your intentions and desires. Boldly begin a discussion about how things really are and how to make the situation work for the highest good of all. Do this as soon as possible. You may be pleasantly surprised by the results. The line that I liked most about this card was the first line, "You're being called to lead others by example." I think as we are in this lockdown and experiencing things, we are looking to others to see what we should be doing and how we should be acting. And now really is the time to set an example and to be that person. Currently, I live in Alberta, Banff, Alberta, and we actually just received our opening plan. So it's starting on May 14th and things are slowly starting to open back up. And it's definitely going to be a shift. So we will be looking to others to see how we are meant to be guided in this situation, but also not forgetting about our own experiences and wisdom that we have to offer to this situation at hand. So it's something to think about. Card number 40, Follow the Leader, is this week's card that I pulled for my listeners, asking the universe, what do we need to know right now? All right, so let's jump into this week's topic of trusting your intuition. I've had this conversation so many times this week with different people in different settings, over Zoom, on the phone, on a social distance walk, seeing someone on the corner. And it just felt like this conversation needed to be shared and more people need to hear it because we're all clearly talking about it. I also get asked this a lot in my DMs. People send me messages wanting to know how to tune in, how to listen to their intuition, how to trust their intuition. And it is a journey and it is something we need to work on. But I do believe that I can provide some tips and things that have worked for me to help you along in your journey. So before we talk about taking our intuition into the outside world, I want to talk about trusting your intuition emotionally and physically first. So we're going to take it inwards first. So when you are just trying to connect with your intuition, you want to scan your body. Don't rush, go slow, and see where's calling your attention. See what you notice. And when you find something, get curious. Ask questions. Sit there for a moment. Are you being called to your gut, to your mind, to your heart? What does it feel like? Ask yourself questions. Does it have anything to say? What does it need from you? Is it holding any kind of emotions? How can you support it? Are you ready to release anything if it's there? And the answers can be yes or no. And when you're tuning in, there is no right or wrong answer. You just need to listen. I want to dive in deeper about listening because this is the hardest part. We can ask the questions and we can tune in, but it's the listening part that people seem to skip over. This is the most important part. So when you listen to your intuition, when you're asking these questions, when you're tuning in, when you're wanting to know more information, when you're wanting clarity, when you're wanting answers, you need to listen. And the answer might not come right away. It might take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It might not come for 3 days. But your listening can never shut off. And this is something that I always like to share is that you should be constantly listening, not just when you're sitting in meditation for 10 minutes a day. That's when you're listening to your intuition. No, your intuition, your gut feeling is with you 24/7. So you need to be listening 24/7. I shared this with a few people this week, and I've also shared this before on the podcast, but something for me, especially when it comes to tuning into mediumship, what I did in the beginning was I wrote everything down because it was very hard for me to find patterns or understand what was happening when I wasn't writing it down because things can happen once a day, things can happen once a week, or things can happen 8 times a day. And until you're noticing these patterns, you won't really understand what your intuition is saying to you or what your gut is trying to guide you towards. So I like to explain it as your body is trying to have a conversation with you, but you need to listen and you need to pay attention because those patterns are telling you something. If every time you do this, you feel this way, what does that mean? If every time this person asks you to hang out, you get this feeling of, oh, I don't want to, should that person still be in your life? There's so many aspects that you can apply to your intuition. It doesn't have to just be with Reiki or mediumship. It's with everything. Anywhere that you are expelling your energy or giving your attention to, you also want to check in and see if you are meant to be giving your attention to that right now. Can it wait? Is it urgent? What do you need? Why does it need attention? Really digging deep within you and asking those questions to yourself and listening to what your body has to say. There's a meme that really describes this perfectly. I'm not sure if anyone's seen it, but I'll just read it to you. So it says, you say to yourself, wow, why do I feel so terrible? And your body says, coffee is not a meal. Please eat a vegetable. You need sleep. And then you answer, well, I guess I'll never know. And your body's kind of like, oh my gosh, like I'm screaming at you everything that I need, but you're not listening. This is exactly how your intuition works. This also applies when people come to see me for Reiki. I always say, I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know, but it's almost like when someone else tells it to us, then we listen, then we hear it, then we do the, yeah, I know. It's almost like a child telling them to go clean their room. They know they have to clean their room. They know you're going to tell them to clean their room. It's the same thing with your intuition. You just have to listen to the hard stuff, and it's not always going to be the answer that you want to hear. Once you get used to tuning in and listening to your intuition internally, I recommend taking that to your external world as well. So this can look like, which way do you want to walk home? Do you turn left or right? Do you all of a sudden want to take a different route home? There might be a reason for that from the universe, trying to protect you from an accident or trying to help you avoid something. I do this a lot with parking spaces, knowing which road to drive down, just asking, where's there going to be a parking space for me? Which way do I need to walk home tonight? It's 1 a.m. Which way is my best route? I normally walk this way, but am I going to walk this way tonight? And really trusting yourself so you can start to test things outside of your body as well and seeing what your intuition says and really listening to that. Your intuition is your guiding force. It's your moral compass. So the more trust you can have in yourself, the easier you'll be able to make decisions, the easier you'll be able to listen, the easier you'll know what you want to do, the easier your right and your wrong will be because you'll know what aligns with you and with who you are and with who you want to be. Another example that I like to use for this is when someone invites you out for coffee or for lunch or for dinner or for anything. What's your immediate reaction? Is it no? Don't go. Don't do things because you feel obligated to do them. Respect your intuition. And maybe you need a lunch at home instead of giving your energy out to a friend. The opposite is true. If you're wanting to stay home, but your body's like, no, I want to get out. I need to see someone. I need to be active. Listen. Listen to that piece of information. Really listen to what your body is asking for and telling you what it needs. So because there is a lot of information out there on intuition and how to grow your intuition, how to pay attention to your intuition, I wanted to just compile 4 tips that you can refer back to and that you can focus on if you are just trying to get better at listening to your intuition, tuning into your body, connecting deeper, whether that be with spirit or just, I want to start at the basics of just connecting with yourself. So I'm going to talk about 4 different tips. So tip number 1 is to ask your body what it needs and actually listen to the answer. Don't make any assumptions. Ask your body what it needs and actually listen. Tip number 2, ask your body or yourself open-ended questions and again, listen to the answer. It might not always be what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. Tip number 3, listen, and listen some more. Your body is talking to you. You really just need to listen to it. Your intuition is telling you things every single day. You need to listen. Tip number 4, be curious. You don't need to be the expert and know the answer. Give yourself compassion and not judgment. So this one really helps with listening and tuning in and asking those questions. They're all related to each other, tips 1, 2, 3, and 4. But once we grasp this concept, it really helps to apply to our everyday life. So ways that I personally listen to my intuition is I allow myself time and space for it. I ask questions for literally anything. Do I want to eat this? Do I want to go there? Do I want to do this? Do I want to get out of bed? Is this right for me? Is this the right choice? And then you'll start to notice that when it is the right choice, you'll literally be kicked in that direction. And when it's the wrong choice, everything will go in your way to not have it pan out the way you might want it to. As I mentioned, I write a lot of things down, and sometimes I just sit and think. A really good spot to tune in is the shower, because there's no other distractions when you're in the shower. That's why sometimes people have like aha moments when they're in the shower, because you don't have your phone, you don't have anything going on. And I'm obsessed with the shower and water, and I love just being in the shower and letting my mind roam or just checking in and seeing how my body's doing. I apply this for movement. Do I need to work out today? Do I need a rest day? I apply this to sleep. Do I need an extra hour sleep today? Do I need to go to bed early? Start small. Ask your body the small questions, because then when you build up to the bigger questions, you'll have a lot more clarity in your answers. So for next week, I'm going to be talking more about questions that people ask in the Akashic Records, which is how this all came up for this week's topic. And I really want to dive deep into the question that everybody has been asking this week. About 50 or 60% of my readings this week all had the exact same question. So I want to talk about it on the podcast, and I want to talk about kind of where the answers come when you are going into your Akashic Records, because they're coming from you. So diving deeper into your intuition and knowing that you don't need someone else to tell you that. And I always say to people, you don't need me. Yes, I'm a tool, and yes, I can help you with things, but you already have everything you need. I hope this helped to explain about your intuition. I hope you learned something. I hope you try out a few of these tips and you really listen to your body and you tune in to what's happening with you, inside you, around you. So this can also apply to spirit or any other skill that you're trying to enhance and grow. Listen. That's really all I can say. If you take one thing away from today's podcast, take away listen. Listen, and then listen some more. And through listening, your yes and your no will become very clear. Asking your body yes or no questions will become very clear. And that will help you in your decisions, in knowing what to do next, and knowing if this is right for you or not. Ask yourself yes or no answers and go with the first thing. Don't think. When you ask a question, don't think about it. It's your first answer, the first thing that pops into your head before your mind even gets a chance to deconstruct the question. When you ask a question, immediate no or an immediate yes. That first answer is your answer. So as you're asking these questions, get familiar with your yes and with your no and use that to your advantage. All right, I'm going to stop this episode here. We can dig into intuition more, but I don't want this to be like an information overload. I actually want this episode to be something that you can work on and a takeaway and almost little homework that you can do each day to try to grow and strengthen your intuition, and know that you're in charge and it's all up to you. So if these tips fit for you and you're like, wow, I want to try that, do it. But if they don't, then there's so many ways to connect with your intuition. It doesn't have to be one of these ways. Everybody is different. So do what fits best and feels best for you. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to episode 35. I hope you are all doing well, and I look forward to discussing this topic further next week. Again, I release episodes every Tuesday, so if you would like to subscribe to the podcast, and if you want to stay connected with me, again, Medium in the Middle is on Facebook and Instagram. Wishing you all a great week, and we will continue this conversation next time. Bye!